So thank you for staying around to listen to my talk today. Godolphin Resources is an exploration company, and we do have 2 advanced projects. We are multi-commodity, so we're not just focused on one single commodity. So we have rare earth projects, plus we've got gold, silver and lead and zinc projects as well. That's our disclaimer, which you can find on our website. So just a bit of a corporate snapshot here for you. You can see our market cap, and I would like to point this out in our share price. And once I go through our 2 most advanced projects, you're going to wonder what's going on, because we are probably the most undervalued company on the ASX. Our projects really are quite outstanding, and we've demonstrated that we've got some robust resources in the ground, and hopefully that will change in the near future. So Godolphin Resources are based, all our projects are based in New South Wales. We're not too far from Sydney, about 300 kilometres to the west. We have 100 kilometres of copper-gold prospective ground between Orange and Dubbo. We have a project, a rare earth project called Narrabri down near Temora, where we have about 50 kilometres north-south and about 30 kilometres east-west of prospective terrain, plus a resource there. And then we've got Lewis Ponds, which is our gold and silver project near Orange, and I'm actually going to talk about that project first. We've been doing a lot of work on this project over the last 12 months, and it's really starting to stack up as a fantastic gold and silver opportunity. The button's a bit hard to press. So about this time last year, we raised some money and we went and did some drilling at Lewis Ponds. We had a couple of goals with that drilling, and one was to get fresh samples for metallurgical test work. We wanted to be able to increase the confidence in the resource. It was all inferred, and we wanted to see if we can get some indicated. And then we also wanted to use that information to feed into a mining scoping study. So Lewis Ponds has a long history. It was a silver and lead mine in the 1800s, and since that time it's been in the exploration phase, and there's been a lot of drilling done, but no one has ever actually put any financials around what that might look like as a mine. So as you can see, our resource now, we went from 6.2 million tonnes to 9.83, and we're looking at, if you think in terms of gold equivalent, we've got about a 4.5 gram gold equivalent ore body in the ground, and not just that, that equates to about, again, 1.4 million gold equivalent ounces. So it's a significant gold and silver resource that we have at the moment, plus it's got zinc and it's got some lead and it's got some copper. So that resource upgrade was really quite important, and it sets the foundations for the project moving forward. The next steps was really around trying to understand the metallurgy, so we have that in process. Most recently we've been able to demonstrate the comminution circuit. The ore is soft, so it will grind really quite rapidly and cheaply, and then the next one is really around the recovery of gold. So it was important to try and improve the recovery of gold from the historic testing, which was only sitting at about 58%, and now we've got some numbers that are looking much better, which has direct implications for the economics of the project. And then the other package of work really is around size potential. So 9 million tonnes of ore is great, you know, that's going to end up to be quite a number of years of mining, but how big can this thing be? Being polymetallic VMS, we know that it's a series of stacked lenses, but we've got a lot of strike extension potential as well. So we put together an exploration target, and that's taking all the data and getting a consultant to look at that in a very robust manner and put together out some exploration targets. So we've got an extra potentially 5 million tonnes of copper and an extra 5 million tonnes of the zinc precious metals resource. So that obviously needs drilling, so that will be a focus of our upcoming drill campaign. So we'll be looking at drilling in the resource to get more tonnes there, and also outside to prove up that expansion potential. We also have a bunch of off-hole conductors that sit in our footwall. So this basically indicates that there's more lenses that we haven't actually drilled yet or identified in the footwall of the Lewis Ponds deposit. So very exciting times coming up to test these targets. So we've gone through and we've done our exploration target, we've done our mineral resource update, metallurgy is in process, scoping studies in process, and all of those things should be out around mid-November. So we've got a lot of news flow coming up on this particular project. Now, with my last few minutes, I really want to now switch to our rare earth project. You would have been, if you've been sitting here for the last few talks, you would understand that rare earths at the moment are very topical. There's obviously a lot of appetite, and I'm not going to go into all the details around why, because you've heard it from all the previous people talking. But Godolphin have the Narrabri Rare Earth Project. We are the only clay-hosted rare earth project in New South Wales. We have done one drilling campaign on this project and drilled 30 holes to produce our resource of the 94 million tonnes. Now, what we wanted to do was, because we've been involved with this project for about 3 years, we understood that it was important for the market to know whether or not we can actually make a saleable product from the mineralisation. So with those holes that we drilled, we actually went through and worked with ANSTO to develop an IMARC product. So we went through the stages of what you would do in a mining, so crushing it and doing leaching, and then impurity removal, and going through and making the mixed rare earth carbonate product. Now, that may not be the end zone for us. That's just where we've got to at this point in time. Now, looking at the makeup of our actual total rare earth oxides, importantly, we want to focus on the magnet minerals, so the NdPr, the terbium and dysprosium. So of our deposit, we have quite high levels of terbium and dysprosium in our total rare earth oxides. Now, that's important because those two particular elements are actually the really high value elements, and that's what is a standout from this particular deposit. So when we talk about what that means, if we skip along to our MREC, so this is actually a picture of our mixed rare earth carbonate that we've made, and you can see the numbers there on the slide about the percentage of leaching that we're getting. So we're getting all of our product going into our leach solution. When we're doing our impurity removal, we're not losing too much of that. And when we're precipitating it into our MREC, we're also getting a fair proportion of our TREOs into our MREC product, which is quite encouraging. And again, looking at those numbers, we are getting quite a high percentage of the terbium and dysprosium into our MREC. Now, what this means is that our product is actually more valuable. So although, when you compare other projects that might also be producing an MREC, but they might be higher in the cheaper elements rather than the ones that are more expensive and have a much higher value. So this is a really important point and one of the standouts to make our MREC product highly sought after. Now, if you think back to the first slide I showed you on Narrabri, we have 94 million tonnes, and we developed that on 30 drill holes that Godolphin drilled and some historic drill holes, not many. And 94 million tonnes is probably considered a bit small. So now we've actually gone through the whole process and know that we can actually make an MREC, we can make a saleable product, so now we need to build our resource. So that's really the next steps. And the thoughts are, geologically, how do we do that? So we were very fortunate that the New South Wales government flew some surveys, some EM surveys across the area. One of them went completely across our Narrabri deposit, and the top image there you can see the outline and the geophysical signature of the rare earth mineralisation. You can also see that same signature is seen to the west for another 1.5 kilometres. So this is a really high prospective target zone. Not just that, when we actually put all the lines together, we've found that we've got a 25 kilometre by 4 kilometre prospective clay basin. So this is all conductive clays, which is the same signature as Narrabri at the moment, and it's also got A-type granites located in and around that clay basin. And the A-type granites are very important because they're the source of the rare earths. So most recently, I mentioned our large land holdings that we do have. We've done an earn-in joint venture on our copper-gold porphyry ground at Yeovil with a company called Great Plains. So this is really great for the Godolphin because we can focus on our rare earth and our gold-silver project while someone else takes care of the expense and the exploration on this tenement, and we still see the exploration upside. So I'm out of time, and I've managed to get to my summary quite well. So really what we're saying is that we are a very undervalued junior exploration company. We are multi-commodities, so we have gold, silver and rare earth projects at a very convenient time in the markets. We are progressing our scoping study and our metallurgy test work on Lewis Ponds, and we will be moving towards doing some additional work at Narrabri in the near future as well. So it's really about watch this space and see the results as they come out. Thank you.